The faces of innocence, faces that tell little of the predicament these young boys are going through.
Kwa majina naitwa Vincent Walo. Jina langu ni Gilchrist Ochieng. Naitwa Meshak Koi. Hathanas Owino.
Meet Meshak, Vincent, Hathanas and Gilchrist, 4 brothers aged 15, 13, 11 and 7 years respectively. The 4 were orphaned in October 2010 following the death of their mother. She was HIV positive.
Aligonjeka tu Friday na hiyo Friday akalala. Monday akaenda hosi, venye alienda hosi ikifika saa 7 akakufa. Alitembea tu mkuu akienda hosi.
For them, that fateful Monday of October 2010 is a day they will not forget easily. It's a day that snatched away the love of a mother, their sole provider, and also their childhood. This hanging on the wall telling of a longing they have for a mother. For more than 1 year now, the boys have been living alone in this one-roomed house in Korogocho slums, just outside an alley full of sewer waste that brings with it a torturous stench. By day it doubles as a sitting room and kitchen, but at night it becomes a bedroom. On this day we find them boiling beans, which will be their evening meal. Meshak explains that they have shared responsibilities.
Leo mtu mmoja ameosha vyombo, mtu mmoja ataenda maji na mtu mmoja apike. Hivyo.
Although they are still children, the circumstances have made them become adults.
Kwanza shida ya chakula, kama jana tulilala njaa, hiyo wiki ingine pia juu ya makaa imepanda, kwa tunaenda shule, tunaenda tu hivyo bila kukunywa hata kitu breakfast. Hakuna chakula na landlord pia anataka pesa ya nyumba. Kama ya hii mwezi bado hajalipa, landlord anataka kufunga nyumba.
Although sometimes they receive food from the Kenya network of women living with AIDS, they say there are times the stock at Kenwa runs out.
Kama mwenye anaishi hapa huyu tusaidia tu saa zingine, anatuliza mkona maka, tunasema pana na tubaia na mboga, alafu tunaleta tunapika.
In another home we find 19-year-old Kevin Ochieng. He's the eldest in a family of 6. They too are orphaned. Their mother died in July 2010. What they have now is this piece of poem that tells of the love they still have for their mother and keeps the memory alive.
Maisha imekuja ikabadilika, ikakuwa ngumu kwa sababu tunajitegemea sisi wenyewe.
They now depend on well-wishers for food and the church for their education.
Kama mimi nalipiwa na priest, and the other 2 girls wanalipiwa na sister but wanasomea boarding school, and the others St. John wanalipiwa na wabo tu sister.
Government statistics indicate that there are an estimated 100,000 child-headed homes across the country. According to psychologists, when children take up parenting roles at such an early age, they lose their childhood and it becomes overwhelming on them.
When such a child heads the home, you find that they no longer go about their normal day-to-day activities that would be expected of them as children. So you find that they tend to mature very fast and there's a gap in their development.
Another psychologist, Winnie Muhaki, says the effects can be classified into different areas that make up the life of an individual. These are emotional health, stability and well-being, mental, social and spiritual.
Every single area is going to be affected for sure, in a different way for different children, because they've come from a very different peculiar circumstance. So, and they're a different and peculiar person. So depending on my coping mechanisms and your coping mechanisms, something may affect me and not affect you. So even with the kids, that might be the case.
The psychologists say the children may require intensive counseling to cope with the situation.
They will require grief and loss counseling, just like anybody else who has gone through some loss. They require to be helped to cope with the losses of their parents. The fact that they have now taken up new responsibilities as heads of homes, it's quite overwhelming for them.
Counseling helps anybody manage a situation. It can be a difficult situation, positive or negative. And for them, for sure, they are in a situation which they need to be helped to manage. Their parents have died. They have no clue what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And that psychological support, it would be needed for that child.
Despite being orphans and vulnerable children, these two child-headed families do not benefit from the cash transfer program. The cash transfer program is an initiative started by the government in 2004 to assist such children financially.
It's not a universal program. You're not supporting all orphans and vulnerable children. You're doing a specific target that targets specific places. So there are many children who ought to be supported by this program who are not being supported. There are children or families that are getting into the criteria for support but are not being supported because we might not be retargeting the same areas where we have targeted already.
The program has an annual budget of 3.3 billion shillings. Currently, 130,000 families across the country are receiving 2,000 shillings each from the program every month. From this, 1,300 families are child-headed.
The challenges we are facing is a number of children who are getting into the cycle that can be paid from this program are getting more by the day. The budgetary allocation is not growing at the rate at which the needy families are growing. And therefore, we do not have sufficient funds to run the program in terms of expansion.